Hello, hello. This video is for Windsor home buyers. I do work with home buyers from time to time. Got two of them done this past month. I love to negotiate transactions as well too. And the two that I got done this past month, I was the second highest offer. Yet we still won the house. There is something to be said about a realtor who will go and present offers if they can. Ask, can I present? Yeah, as a matter of fact, Brian, sure, if you'd like to come in and present, by all means. Okay, good. Just ask and go present. It's that simple. And you'd be surprised what you can get done because you're there in person. And people like you. Like, Brian, I like your story. I like your client's story. I want to sell the house to you. Here, let me sign. It's that simple. It's a very simple concept. If you send it over electronically, they don't know who your story is. They don't know anything at all about you. Sorry, those blood clots on my lungs are still causing problems. But if you just send it over electronically, they're just going to electronically take the highest, cleanest offer. If you send it over in person, deliver it, and say, I'm not leaving until this gets done, it's this important for my client, then you have a really good chance of actually getting a deal done. The old way of doing real estate is still one of the best ways. You combine the two together. Then all of a sudden, you're exceptionally successful in real estate. But I digress just a touch. So if you're a buyer, in Windsor, there's a phenomena that you need to know about because it'll help you to get a good house. The very first part is that many listing realtors only think about, I have to be careful with that. Many listing realtors take listings and divide the standard commission, which is 5% in the city of Windsor, the standard. Some cases it's a 6%. Some cases it might need to be a little bit more depending upon what's going on with the house. And in some cases it might be able to be just a touch less. Or the listing realtor might give them a discount, like me. Yeah, there's some things going on with my eyes. Don't pay any attention to them. I've got eye drops in and stuff to try to get them cleared up. There's some kind of a bacterial or some kind of an infection that we're getting cleared up, and that's getting better. It's also affecting the sound of my voice because there's your eyes and nose and all that stuff. Anyway, it'll get better. I'm working through it. So if we take a commission and we take the standard 5 and we give 2% to the competing realtor, the person that you're working with as a buyer, that's the competing realtor. It's not the listing realtor you're working with. It's the competing realtor that you're working with, the buyer's representation. So if we take a listing and we pay ourselves 3% and we give 2% to the competing realtor, those houses underperform price point wise. So if you're a buyer, you want your buyer's representative realtor to be showing you every house listed at 2.0%. They will underperform. It's that simple. They underperformed by $7,000 last week, giving you a little bit of a discount. And hey, if you're a buyer of real estate, a little bit of a discount is not a bad problem to have. $7,000 is $7,000. And you're not paying the commission. That's 7,000 real dollars in your pocket. So when you're working with a buyer's rep realtor, you should ask them, hey, what's the commission on this one pay? because that'll give you an idea how much over you're going to have to bid. And the reason for that is that if they pay 2.5% to the competing realtor, then you're going to have more competing realtors. It's game theory. That's what it is. Just simple game theory. It's a college concept. Hey, if you're paying 2.5, I'm going to pay more attention than if you're only paying 2. And if you do one of those really wonky ones, like a 2.25, those few that sold, there were 2 last week at 2.25, and they way underperformed. They way underperformed by $15,000, by $12,000 difference between 2.25 and 2.5. So again, if you're a buyer, you would want your realtor to show you any listing at 2.25 because you're going to get a special deal there, mathematically. So there's some math, there's some game theory to purchasing a house in the city of Windsor, purchasing a house in any city. There's a lot of game theory to it. So there's a little bit of a breakdown. What you want to find is you want to find those listings with a 2.0 competing realtor commission. Now, the challenge with that is that the guy or gal that's driving you around, or there I go again, the person who's driving you around, I think I can get away with that word person in today's new society. I think it's okay. Don't know. I think it's okay. So that person, let's use it, driving you around is spending all kinds of money on fuel. They're spending all kinds of time in the office. They're on the phone, calling the listing realtor, trying to figure out whether it's a house that you can actually even afford in your budget. They're doing all of the yeoman's task of selling real estate. The listing realtor simply goes out, has a meeting, wins the listing, and then has their team come in and do whatever needs to be done. Now, there is a cost to a team. I do have a cost to my team. I do. But at least I don't have to drive somebody around showing them 72 houses before we win one. So, at the end of the day, if you're a buyer of Windsor real estate, you want to pay attention to what the competing realtor commission is. If you can win a house, you'll have a better propensity or better chance of winning a good house that's listed at a 2% sell-side realtor commission than what you will a house that listed at 2.5%. Now, one more thing. From time to time, there are special deals, even at 2.5%. Or there's easy transactions to put together. Let's just put it that way. So with my listing that I had on Westminster, I listed it at 2.5% competing realtor commission because I was trying to maximize the value for my client, my seller client. I work for them, right? And we got 140% of the average overbid, so we knocked the ball out of the park. Now, if you ask her, we could have done $5,000 better or $10,000 better, possibly. But I don't want to put words in her mouth either. We did really well. It's all that I need to know. I need to know that I'm performing well for my clients. And I did really well. We sold it in 5 days. So that was all good. But in this particular case, there was a realtor that came at us very first day. Tried to give us a bully offer, and we didn't want bully offers, that had a house to sell condition. And then because they had a house to sell condition, we wanted to add some money to the deal. Because, hey, wait a second, if you want us to say yes to a bully offer that has a clause in it, then you better come at us with some extra money. And to be honest with you, a house to sell clause is worth $10,000. It's how it is in the business. We just look at it and say, wait a second, that's $10,000. It's just like if you are trying to sell a house that has had 17 cats in it, that's a discount. It's a completely different house. A house that hasn't had cats in it. Now, one cat, no big deal. Multiple cats, bigger deal. So anyway, I digress again. What we want to do then in that particular case was we said no because the bully couldn't come together. Then another realtor came at us. Okay, we might look at your offer too. And we served notice to everybody and nobody made any offers other than that realtor. So we accepted their offer and it had a clause in it. Don't like clauses. Didn't get through its clause. So then we had another realtor come at us with a $480,000 offer clean. Just sign here. By that time, my seller client was ready to go ahead and sell a house. But the communication was the communication too. Hey, I want to put together a bully offer. Would you look at it? Yeah, we'll serve notice again to everybody. Not a problem. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what I did. And got the right forms to the real estate board and all that stuff too, which is exceptionally important. Doing real estate the right way. Period. End of discussion. It's be done the right way. So we looked at that offer and said, this is pretty good. Spot on what we feel the house is worth. And so far, 4 realtors have come at us with the same numbers. So, hey, maybe Brian is a little bit right on this thing. Maybe his degrees and designations and experiences as an appraiser does matter. So we went ahead and sold it. And I got them 140% of the average over. The average over was $21,000. So we overperformed. So it is as a buyer, and they were first-time home buyers. They had lost other houses. And their realtor in the negotiations with me was completely clear with that. Look, Brian, we really, really would like to get this done. Can we get this done? And I'm like, oh, hell yes, I think so. I don't know. My seller will make the decision. But we seem like we're spot on. And we were. Now sold. Without a pile of offers, without any of that stuff. So, as a buyer, look at the houses that have a 2.0% sell side commission. Your realtor who's driving you around will make less. They just will. And they have all of the costs. They've got a $70,000 car that they're depreciating because every kilometer they put on that freaking car driving you around is a cost to them. It's a maintenance cost. It's a depreciation cost. And as you know, those costs add up very quickly too. That's why a lot of realtors don't stay in this business, because there's a lot of cost with trying to run a real estate business. Just is. And that's why it's also very important, I believe, from a realtor's perspective, to have my own house in order. Makes it a lot easier because it's very expensive to be a realtor. So anyway, I digress with all of that. That's my little training video for you as a buyer. Now, if you are a buyer and you're not working with a realtor yet, and you would like to work with a realtor to help you, who understands game theory, who understands all of the moving pieces with us, who has great relationships with other fellow realtors. Great relationships are exceptionally important in this business. If I had a listing and there's certain realtors that come at me, sorry about their luck. They're just going to have a harder time. The relationships in this business are exceptionally important to get deals done. So, at the end of the day, think about that. I do have a little bit of time to help 1 or 2 buyers. I do. I help 1 or 2 at a time. I have a set process that we go through to remove as much stress from you as humanly possible. And I manage every moving piece of the transaction. I'm going to ask you tough questions. I'm going to demand things from you. I'm going to need to know who your mortgage person is, and I'm going to be on the phone with your mortgage person making sure that we're doing everything correct. And if you've got a mortgage person that's at a phone bank, I'm going to be telling you, hey, wait a second. No, we're not working with a phone bank. If you have a mortgage person that's up in Toronto and you're trying to buy a house here in the city of Windsor, I'm going to tell you, no. We're going to be using a Windsor mortgage person for this. There's a reason for it. Toronto mortgage people, especially for Windsor houses, the average selling price is $523,000. That means that a mortgage person only makes less than $5,000 to do a mortgage in the city of Windsor. Are they going to get up in the morning? No. They make no money to them. So you and I, that's a hell of a lot of money, minus the cuts and everything else, and you're left with about $2,000 net after tax. So at the end of the day, that mortgage person, we need a month to close, Brian. It's like, what are you talking about? A month? I don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning a house in the city of Windsor if you want me to have a month to close it, or 2 months even. Some deals from Toronto, I've seen 3 months. I'm like, what the hell? And so, yeah, the mortgage person told me to put a 3-month close in there, Brian. Like, what? What are you talking about? You don't have a snowball's chance in heck of winning a house with a 3-month delay. The house is for sale now. It's not for sale 3 months from now. And if he needs a 3-month delay, or she needs or it, or who, or whatever needs a 3-month delay, then maybe you need a different mortgage broker, because that's unheard of. 3 months delay. What are you talking about? Fire that person. Let's get you a really good mortgage person here in the city of Windsor. And I do that stuff because it's important. I'm trying to help you get a house. We're not, and I've had clients pissed off with me before. I'll just be truthful. They didn't understand. Their mortgage person was screwing the heck out of them. And I got mad. And then they got mad at me. Why are you being so mean to our mortgage person, Brian? I said, because I'm trying to get them to do the job that he's supposed to do for you. Well, yeah, but you're just upsetting him, and he's not going to give us our mortgage if you keep upsetting him. It's like, that's okay. There's all kinds of other mortgage people out here in the world. And maybe if you had a better experience with a professional mortgage person, you would understand what I'm trying to do. I've been through this. I've been a realtor for 8-9 years. I get it. I understand when people are trying to come at you and hurt you. And yeah, it upsets me because my job is to try to protect you. And I'm a bulldog that way. Or a Doberman, or whatever the heck you want to call me. And they got mad at me. It's like, okay, that's good. Go ahead and get mad at me. And they had a limited budget, and we kept getting overbid and outbid and all this other stuff. And then when we would win bids, because of the relationship I had, then their mortgage person couldn't come through. I'm like, just get out of bed and go to work, would you please? How dare this have to be done in a day, Brian? I've never heard anything like this in Toronto. We just don't work this way. Huh? Okay. Let's fire you and find somebody that likes to get out of bed and go to work. So if you're looking for a buy-side realtor who understands, who manages every moving piece of a transaction, I don't take on a whole lot at the same time. Most of my deals are sell-side real estate. However, I can help you. You just have to be willing and ready for that help. Give me a jingle, Brian, 519-995-6145. Have a great night. Bye-bye.